Astra. This is Selene.
There has certainly been a proliferation of roguelikes over the past several years, with game developers looking to blend the allure of its looping risk and reward tenets with other genres. In Returnal's case, Housemarque have opted to blend it with a third-person shooter, feeding in a deep sci-fi mystery and then amping it all up with the power of the PlayStation 5 to make one of the console's first truly standout exclusives. Before we go any further, let's talk spoilers. We're not really delving into the story here, or at least not beyond what's already been talked about and shown by Housemarque and Sony themselves, and there are plenty of twists in the game's narrative. Additionally, I want to talk about the footage that you're seeing in the background, which is predominantly from the first 2 biomes of the 6 included. Again, it's all stuff that's been featured previously, so we're talking about the experience here, but we're trying to keep it fresh for you as well. Understanding what Returnal is pretty important, to be fair. At a glance, Returnal looks like a punchy arcade shooter. The marooned pilot Selene rockets through alien-filled gauntlets, gunning down a menagerie of shadowy, tendrilled monsters and dodging the glowing projectiles that they send her way. But there is so much more to it than that. Without doing your homework and knowing what a roguelike is, and I'm sure that many of you do, you could easily wander into Returnal expecting a sci-fi odyssey that hurtles from one set-piece moment to the next, but it's not like that at all. And when the revelation dawns on you that this is the case, you'll know for sure whether Returnal is a game for you or not. Every time that Selene dies, you start from scratch, watching her emerge from the wreckage of her space vessel with only a pistol in hand. Even after sinking dozens of hours into Returnal, this is where you'll always return to when you die, though each subsequent run is uniquely different because of the roguelike form. You see, every single time that Selene dies, the planet Atropos will warp itself around her. The carefully crafted pieces that make up Returnal's ever-changing gauntlets are tweaked and realigned to make each playthrough feel as though you've touched down on an uncharted hostile planet for the very first time. Of course, it feels familiar, but everything is mixed up and different. The beauty of Returnal is in the metagame. It doesn't completely wipe away every bit of progress when Selene's health bar runs dry. Aside from the knowledge that you've gained from learning enemy attack patterns or discovering new loadout options, there are a handful of permanent upgrades that carry over from one run to the next. A wider array of items will also gradually find their way into random chests, and weapons will come tagged with more bonus traits. And there's also the hint of the Metroidvania as well. Selene will unlock and then be able to employ new gadgets to access previously gated off areas. However, even roguelike fans need to be aware of something. In order to make meaningful progress in Returnal, it often means delving into runs that will span a couple of hours or more. Yet there's no option to save or suspend your session, and this forced us to actually use the PlayStation 5's rest mode feature for the first time. While this underlines Returnal's commitment to the genre's blueprint, not everyone has that kind of uninterrupted time to spend on each playthrough, and a way to suspend a run wouldn't hurt its progression in our opinion. Returnal also has a prominent focus on narrative. In fact, for a roguelike, it is surprisingly indulgent with the number of cutscenes and story moments, as Housemarque flesh out Selene's character and drip feed the player with nuggets of Atropos lore. The cynic might argue that these flashy interludes were inserted to bolt on some more blockbuster appeal, bringing Returnal in line with Sony's other story-driven PlayStation exclusives. That might be true to an extent, but much like the gameplay, these threads of this sci-fi narrative have been smartly woven together. The story and the way that it is structured are a commentary on the cyclical nature of the roguelike, and Housemarque breaks some of the genre's conventions as you make progress through the narrative. Carol Rugia, who you'll probably know best as Hitman's Diana Burnwood, does a great job of bringing Selene to life, especially when she doesn't have any other voice actors to bounce off. You will often come across scout logs for players to find as she records what is happening on Atropos and her experiences as you're going through the game as well. Of course, none of this would matter if Returnal wasn't fun to play, and if there's one thing that Housemarque are known for, it's energetic, pulse-pounding bouts of gameplay that achieve a masterful balance between being genuinely challenging and rewardingly addictive at the same time. The developer's love for bullet hell arcade classics blends perfectly with Returnal's third-person action. Each battle is a ballet, Selene dancing through a barrage of lasers, missiles, and generally slow-floating orbs, while returning fire with her own ever-expanding alien arsenal, although you should note that you can only carry one gun at a particular time, making every weapon choice critical. In particular, the boss battles have a definite smack of Super Stardust HD and Resogun about them in terms of the sheer volume and different types of projectiles that you'll be trying to avoid. Combating this enemy and exploring this world, you will have choices to make at every turn. You can only carry a single weapon at a time, and so you'll have to weigh up whether a more powerful alien shotgun is better suited to your playstyle than a rapid-fire alternative. Whatever your choice, the excellent adrenaline system makes you feel more and more powerful as you kill more enemies without taking damage, loosening some of the ties on the Gears of War style reload system, or helping you to spot enemies by highlighting them through the game's view. You also have parasites that give you a buff and a debuff at the same time, or you might find a pickup that can give you a suit malfunction that can only be released as you complete a mini objective. Some runs will be better than others because of this. I had a parasite on one run that rewarded health for melee kills at the expense of being able to use any of the surprisingly plentiful health pickups for a roguelike. Honestly, it felt like a noose around my neck for the entire run, and I pretty much immediately regretted picking it up. Did we mention how incredible this game looks? Even with its procedurally generated stages, Returnal's environments are stunning, and it's a testament to how Housemarque have constructed things. They are dark, grimy, and foreboding, yet the intense light show emanating from every gunfight injects them with life and character. Then there's the way that it intuitively binds the visuals with gameplay, telegraphing battles beat by beat as you learn to read the various attacks of each otherworldly enemy, as well as when to unload your own deadly barrage of bullets. Returnal's immersion goes beyond its sights and sounds, and Housemarque have made excellent use of the DualSense controller's haptic feedback. The haptics are incredibly dynamic here, from being able to feel the gentle patter of oblites against fingers to the wrenching rumbles that emerge when steeped in the middle of the action. Meanwhile, the adaptive triggers mean that a half press of the left trigger aims down sights, while pushing past the midpoint stop enters each weapon's randomized alternate fire mode. It feels immensely satisfying to be sat here in 2021, practically eons after playing Stardust HD on PlayStation 3 for the first time, and being able to see just how far Housemarque have come. Offering a visual bullet hell spectacle, a showcase for the DualSense controller, and a rewarding sci-fi narrative that is woven around the roguelike loop, we can say with unflinching confidence that Returnal is the PS5's best game to date. Thanks for joining us for our video review of Returnal. The game is out tomorrow on the 30th of April, exclusively for PlayStation 5. You can also head over to the6axis.com, where we've got this written review and more coverage of the game, and we've also got a first 45 minutes live stream of this already up on YouTube as well. Before you go though, make sure to like, subscribe, all of the usual YouTube things, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Goodbye!